Hello world, Nicholas Pazienza here, and today I want to talk about IAM, which stands for Identity and Access Management. This allows you, yes you, to securely control access to AWS resources. This is really important, and if you're a visual learner, I drew a very nice picture for us, so let's take a look. There are a few components to AWS. One is users. So, for example, Billy, Nikolai, David. There's user groups, billing, admin, developer. And there's also policies that you can associate with user groups. So the billing group would be associated with billing policies, and we could add Billy to that group. Let's take a look at an even better picture. So here's our billing user group, and we have a user named Billy. We have the admin user group, and there's a user named Nikolai. We have a developer user group, and there will be a user called David, which we will create together. And know what you're thinking. Why is this shape different? It's because Nikolai is a user in the admin group and the developer group. Let's just take a quick moment to talk about two things. The first is when you log into AWS, you will be on a root account. The root account is the definition of with great power comes great responsibility. I would be very careful, and my recommendation would be make a separate account for yourself, use your name, and add yourself to whatever user groups that you need access to. The second thing I want to talk about is least privileges. So Billy works at our company, and Billy says, I want access to everything. I want access to the user group. I want access to the developer group. I want access to the blockchain group. My response to that would be, Billy, you're a good guy. I've had dinner with your family. I love you, but no, I can't do this for security reasons. You will have access to the billing resources that you need. If there ever comes a day where you need access to more resources, not a problem. Go through the correct channels, whether that's submitting a ticket, whether that's reaching out to an admin on your project, and we can get you that access. Another thing to kind of consider is what happens if Billy's account is compromised? Well, if we use least privileges, we know that while it still stinks, only the billing resources have been compromised because that's how we designed our groups. Billy doesn't have access to the admin group or developer or blockchain. He is granted access to the resources that he needs. All right. Now that we've been over that stuff, let's get to work. So let's log in. I'm going to go to IAM. And let's take a look. So we've got Billy and we've got Nikolai. We're going to create David together. And we've got admin, billing, and developers like I showed. I still want to show you how to create a group. I think that's important. What happens if down the road you want to expand and take on new responsibilities? So we talked a little bit about blockchain. Let's create a group for that and get that ready for any new employees who are going to be added to the team. So the username is going to be blockchain. We're not going to add any users just yet, but let's take a look at some of the policies that are associated with blockchain. And just for right now, let's just do read-only access instead of full access. We're going to create the group. And there it is. Great. So now we're ready for the future. If, let's say, 2 weeks into the future, they say, you know what? It's not really in the plans anymore. We're not going to do it. Not a problem. Let's go ahead and just delete it. All right, done deal. Let's go ahead and get David created. So let's add users. The user's name is going to be David. Let's select password AWS Management Console access. I'm going to auto-generate a password. You're able to see the password later, and it's a very secure password, so I'm going to stick with that. because it's just a mixture of numbers, letters, symbols, David's going to have a tough time remembering it. So what I want to do is create a new password the next time that they sign in. And what groups do we want to add David to? We want to add him to developers. And we're going to put engineering here. Let's do a quick review. David with a password, auto-generated, developers, and engineering. Looks good to me. So let's create user. And if you were curious and wanted to see the password, you can show it. And that way you could either send an email, or if you kind of use Slack or another messaging, you can say, hey, David, here's your password. Like, go ahead, get logged in right now, and then change the password to something secure, but something that you'll be able to remember. So I'm not going to show the password, but if you were curious, you can check that out. All right, so David's created. We created a user group as well. And just like the user groups, let's say it doesn't work out with David. Let's say he's only here for a week or two, and then he leaves. All right, well, let's delete David. So just type in David. And he's gone. So now we're back to just Nikolai and Billy. And that's a real quick overview of IAM. It's really important stuff to keep resources, data, and information protected. I hope you found that helpful, and I appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you next time.